Thanks for being here today. We're going to scrap lift with Mixed Media Mayhem, Giselle Homer, and the page for scrapbooking looks like this. I'm also playing with my counterfeit kit challenge, and so here we get started. So I pulled out my Big Shot, and I pulled out this picture of my daughter and this Christmas paper from my kit to stash that I have, and I've pulled out these leaves, and I think they came from a hip kit club, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to show you one go through of the die cutting, but I'm not going to make you watch all of it because I do a pile of it, probably a half an hour of cutting leaves. And so on this side is this yellowy tan color that the leaves are in the picture, pretty close, and on the other side is like a green and burgundy Christmas page, and I didn't even realize there was green and burgundy on the other side. And when I take it out, I go, ooh, I like that too. And so I'm just using my needle to weed those out, and then this is what I ended up with, is a whole pile of them. I pulled out these containers that I got. They're supposed to be for sorting puzzles, but they work so well for scrapbooking. So I just threw them all in there and some of the other bits and pieces that I have. I'm going to put this back in my art bin for my die cuts. And I just pulled that other one out in case I need some little leaf pieces, but I don't actually use it, but that's okay. So I'm going to cut this 5x7 down. I think I cut it down to 5.5. It's not quite a square, but I didn't want to cut down too much of the leaves in front of my kiddo because that's the main point of this page. And so then in the page for scrap lifting, it has a outside border. And so I'm just taking a look at in my counterfeit kit club papers that I had pulled, which ones would actually go well with this. So I'm just taking a look. That pair might have been okay, but it just still kind of look like pears and meh. So just pulling out the ones that'll work. So I have these three to choose from, and I decided to go with this one that I'm doing right now with the snowflakes on it, because the very little bit of the border you're going to see, you're not going to tell that it's snowflakes, but it really does tie in that beigey color of the leaves, and also the green that I have that I can use on the other side. And I gutted that just in case I wanted to use it. And then I was going to use this white piece, but it's kind of see-through, so I don't know what that one came from, but it's not very, I don't know. It's not going to be useful as an actual background page, but I do use it next week, so. And then I'm just cutting this down so there's a very little bit of a border. So I definitely don't have as much of a border as the scrap lift one we are doing, but that's okay. I just felt like I needed just a little bit. My picture is quite a bit bigger too, so I wanted to give more room for that long piece where she's got all of her leaf pieces. And then she's got this sunburst part. And so for the sunburst part, I took out this Park Stencil, which is a sunburst. And I'm going to use the antique linen, but I wasn't quite sure, so I just slid a piece of paper underneath to see, and then that definitely is what I want to use. My table's wiggling a bit. It's actually not my camera, it's my table. So I'm going to have to level my table out a bit. And so I like that, but I want it in more places because she's got hers in, I don't know, not as many places, but I wanted it to kind of frame my picture. So it almost looks like fireworks, but not. I don't know. I like the texture it gives, so it doesn't matter. I just like it. So just filling out some of those pieces that are empty. And then I noticed on hers, she does have some packaging and she has some splatters. So I put the antique linen on my stamp block, and I'm just going to splatter that to start with. And then I'm going to grab some packaging, and I'm going to put the leftovers on my packaging, which wasn't as much as I wanted. So I'm going to smush some more, add some water. I know my water's gross, but it doesn't matter. It's got a little bit of black in it I'll show you from doing this on a different page. So I rolled my paintbrush in the black and then dipped it. So there's a little bit of black in that water, but it was clean and it doesn't make that much of a difference to my antique linen, so I'm not too worried about it. It'll get changed before I do my next layout. And then I decided I do want to matte my photo and I do want to put it up on foam. So I am going to matte it in the same pattern paper that I have that is around the background. So yay me for saving this little bit, because look, I use it anyway. I don't know if I'll save that last bit of a scrap because there's not a whole lot left, but this one worked out really well. And I'm going to use a little bit of tape on that one, even though there's some texture to that paper. And then I'm going to use some tape and some glue and get this on. This is a little short. I should have added a bit more, but I will in a minute. So I get that on, and now I'm going to kind of fit where I want these pieces to go. And I do really like that the other side has some of this burgundy and the green, so it just adds another color to the pages. There's some burgundy on that background paper too that's framing them both, so it kind of ties both of it in, so I really like that. So I'm just gonna place and think about how I want these to go, and then I'm like, oh, these block ones I should have put on first, so I'm just gonna move it all over, kind of fit some more. It's not gonna look like this either, but that's okay. So get some on and kind of place it out. And I'm already liking that more than what I was going with before. So okay, and then I decided I'm just gonna go with it here right away. So get these glued on. I decided the two yellow ones would be fun at the bottom. Put this one with the other colors up top here. So that burgundy on that big full leaf, and these other ones that I'm putting on that have the emptiness, because it all came out of the same piece of paper. That burgundy is all the same color, but there's bits of green, and there's one that actually has some white in it because of the border strip. And I really like the different tones that gives, even though it's all from the same paper. Got a little bit of glue on my photo, so just used a wet wipe to wipe it up real quick. And then that saves that. Just gonna cut these off. This is where I realized I need some more underneath, so there we go. And then she does have a little bit of a cluster on this side, so I am going to put, my cluster is going to swoop down a little bit more than hers does, but I kind of like that anyway, so it is all good. So just filling in a little bit of some spots. I could have left it like that, but I just wanted a little bit more texture in a couple of different spots, so. And my daughter's talking to me again. They do like to come down and visit. And that, I think, is about it for those. So I'm going to grab some embellishments now. So this kiddo's nickname is Bee, so I'm going to put some bees on it. So her sister calls her Little Bee, so, because she's busy. And so it's going to have the 3 bees from the Simple Stories Vintage collection. She's looking at different things and noticed that I knocked some stuff on the floor and picking things up. And I looked through this happy planner sticker book. I haven't really used too much of it, but I didn't find anything that was really the right tones, but I sure tried. And so now I'm going to put in those brads that I found. They actually have felt on the top, so it gives a nice different texture onto it too. So there'll be 2 brown ones and a cream one, and so a brown one goes there. I realized that was not glued down, so that'll get glued here in a second. But I'm going to put the brad here. Glue this down. And one more up by the other bee. So I'm kind of clustering them around the bees because why not? So there's kind of 3 clusters, but not. And then I'm going to put these in. They're not enamel dots. I think they're called jewel dots. And the ones that I'm putting on right now have a tan color and a sparkly gold, and now I'm putting on some teal ones. So the teal just adds just an unexpected color. And then I pulled out some different letters to do the title. And so I chose these ones because they've got some corduroy kind of texture to them. And they're super old. They're from Making Memories. They've probably at least 10 years old. I've had them for forever. So I decided to call this School Days because my daughter is at school on this day. And she went to the school that I worked at this time. So that was kind of fun. And my daughter and her teacher and my class, when I taught grade 5 at this time, were out doing stuff together. So I was able to sneak a couple pictures of my kiddo doing school stuff, even though I wasn't her teacher. We did homeschooling, so this is part of our blended program. And so she went to school 2 days a week. And they had some paint chips from like Home Depot hardware store, and they had to go around and match colors in fall. And so the kids were like, there's only brown outside. And so there's not only brown outside. So that was a lot of fun to do. And then I decided that L was too much and this O was too big. So I'm going to use a different green one, and I'm going to overlap the O's, and then I get my School Days, and they're going to get glued on, but not right now. And so that is my page complete. There'll be some, obviously close-ups like this, and then there's some still shots to follow, and you can really see the texture and the colors here now and how that green actually ties in. And so love that texture. And here's the page all done up together. And if you liked my page, I would really appreciate the thumbs up. There's a subscribe here, and there's a couple other videos that you might want to watch. Thank you for being here again. Have a great day.